Under the lights in Miami Gardens, it's tradition versus swagger, Blueblood versus Bad Boys, and the return of one of the college football's most electric rivalries. The 6th-ranked Fighting Irish roll into Hard Rock Stadium to take on the 10th-ranked Hurricanes. Miami hasn't lost to Notre Dame since 1977 at home, but can Carson Beck and the Canes keep that streak alive? Or will CJ Carr's first start in gold and blue spoil the party? Buckle up, college football fans. It's time to break the huddle. And joining me today to break down this game and preview and prediction, none other than the best reporter in the game, Ashley Friedland. She does it all. She's everywhere. And we're glad to have her back for another week, another preview and prediction for Miami football. So Ashley, first of all, thank you for coming back on.
Yeah, of course. I'm excited to be here.
Let's waste no one's time. Let's talk about this game. And first off, we're going to talk about this primetime matchup and the history behind it. I mean, as I mentioned in the intro, they haven't lost to Notre Dame at home since 1977. And this is a rivalry that's gone unnoticed, in my opinion, in recent years. And then you look at the team overviews from last year. Notre Dame 2024 national title runner-up. Now they bring in new quarterback CJ Carr, an elite offensive line, and a plethora of running backs in that running back room. They've got it stacked up there. But then you look at Miami, 10-3 last year. Carson Beck transfers in from Georgia, a bunch of question marks around him. Cristobal in year 4. So my question for you, Ashley, is heading into 2025, which team do you feel is under more pressure to prove themselves right away? Is it Notre Dame or is it Miami?
As both a media reporter for Miami fan, and like a diehard green and orange girl, I guess you would call me. So I would say Miami has more to prove. But taking off those 3 hats, I would still argue Miami needs to come out stronger and needs to have that opening night win. Simply because Mario's on the hot seat. Carson Beck has something to prove. He said it today, and he'll keep saying it. And then all of our transfers that came here for a reason. We had a top 5 ranked recruiting transfer class this past season, and Notre Dame, I don't believe, was in the top 10. They did keep a lot of their major guys, but Miami still has that chip on their shoulder. Miami has something they need to prove. Miami can't let Notre Dame flip the script. And when it all boils down to it, it's Carr versus Carson, and Carson has that chip on his shoulder.
There's a lot of pressure for Miami. You mentioned Cristobal being on the hot seat. Rooster said in his week 1 bets episode, quote, if Cristobal loses this game, his seat goes from hot to a furnace. It really could heat up quite a lot, especially with all the talent that they have coming in surrounding Carson Beck and offensive line up front, which we'll get into. You look at CJ Carr, on the other hand, his first career start. What a game to to come into college football with. Welcome to college football. There's going to be some nerves.
No kidding.
Yeah, there's going to be some nerves, some upside maybe to that, because he's just going to come out swinging. But I think Notre Dame feels confident in him. Be curious to see what happens there. You talked about Carson Beck's veteran presence, and although he's had a history of struggles versus the pressure, you have to think that this year is probably his most confident year. I mean, this is his year to prove. It's just a matter of going out there, being himself, getting back to his fundamentals, and throwing the ball on time when it needs to be thrown, and relying on that excellent run game that Miami has too. And by the way, you're standing behind some of the biggest offensive linemen in all of college football, which we've talked about many times before in our previous episodes. I just to ask you another question, Ashley, before we jump to our next segment. What do you think is the biggest thing Carson Beck needs to do or not do in this game to help his team lead them to victory?
I think Carson just needs to play like Carson's played. He's 24-3 in starting games. Like that's incredible. That's an incredible accomplishment for anybody, especially for somebody of his caliber. He's storied. He understands the game. His football IQ is incredible, and he's back in. He's in Miami. He's back at Hard Rock, which last time he was there, he absolutely blew out FSU. So he's set up for success in where he is. When it comes down to it, he's the quarterback that Miami has I'm not going to say so desperately needed for so long, because obviously we saw that in Cam Ward last year, but it's the quarterback that they really needed to make it really far this season. And he's the quarterback that's going to help Miami pull off the win. Like, this team is set up for success.
Yeah. 10-3 last year. They bring in a proven quarterback, Carson Beck. I told you this before, just a minute ago. He's got to be consistent, and he's got to limit turnovers. He's going to have the protection. He's going to be able to trust the guys up front.
Right.
Now he's just got to find that wide open guy, even if it's just as simple as going to the check down. I'm not worried about him making throws way down the field. I know a lot of people are looking to that because of the elbow injury and the surgery that was done in the offseason, but I just want to see him get back to playing football. I mean, at its core, I just want to see him get the check downs, get the slants, the hitches, the in routes, whatever it is, 10, 15 yards down the field. You don't need a gunslinger to win this game. You just need to be consistent and move the ball down the field productively. And then we look at the run game. We talked about Miami's run game in our running back preview video. I'll put that link above. Notre Dame's got a pretty good running back room themselves. Lead rusher Jeremiah Love returns for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. That's going to be a battle-tested matchup up front in the trenches. We always talk about in football as a game, it's always one up front first and foremost. Miami's deep run defense gave up an average of 112 yards in 2024, which is not terrible. It can be better. And I guess my question to you is who or how, you mentioned guys like Bain and Mesidor. I know you'll talk about them. Who are some guys up front or even in the linebacking core that fans should be looking out for?
You've really got to get to the quarterback at the end of the day, and you've got to make it possible for your secondary to do what they need. Basically, go get those receivers, go get those tight ends, and hopefully force a turnover or force a sack or something along those lines. And we have Damari Brown, we have Zachariah Poyser, we have so many guys new in our secondary, and we have so many guys up in front in the trenches that are going to make it really hard for Notre Dame to have a successful running game. Will they still have a successful running game because of Love, and who knows if Carr is going to provide that? Probably, because that's just the way college football is. You're not going to make somebody else bad just because you are good, but the competition is going to be there and it's going to be real. But I think with the guys that we have lined up and under Heather Minch coaching, it's going to be seen on the field how powerful Miami is now.
Yeah, and I know when we had Brad on a couple weeks ago, shout out Brad, he wasn't able to make it tonight. We talked about the new defensive coordinator. This is a totally revamped defense for the Miami Hurricanes. And listen, they've got something to prove too, right? I mean, Mario Cristobal knows he's on the hot seat. So what does he do? He revamps the defense. He brings in a new defensive coordinator. Obviously, he's got a strong core up front returning on the D-line. I'm excited to see what they can do. I think that's the biggest question mark for me personally in this game is how does Miami's defensive front look, right? Are they athletic? Are they physical? Are they going to punch you in the mouth? Are they afraid to, get hit? Because it's going to be physical up front. I mean, these are some big boys clashing up front on both sides of the ball. So that's my biggest question mark and my biggest curiosity going into this game is, can the Miami defensive line deliver? We shall see Sunday night. But then we also have to talk about the matchups on the outside, right? The skill position and the wide receivers. We talk about Notre Dame cornerback Leonard Moore, a seasoned veteran for them. He's going to be looking to make some plays in the secondary. Carson Beck's got some weapons to get the ball to, though. He's got, and I hope I pronounced these names correctly. He's got Trader and Daniels along with Keelan Marion and a few others. Everyone talks about, Restrepo and his departure. To replace the production for Restrepo and what Cam Ward brought to that team, I guess my biggest question to you is, you've been around for fall camp and leading up to this game, who sticks out to you in that wide receiver room as someone that fans should say, this is the guy, or maybe two or three guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy for me to say. My first thought that happens when you ask is Malachi Toney. He's a true freshman. He's supposed to be a senior in high school right now, which is basically unheard of. The fact that Miami let him really enroll this early, a scholarship to him this early, and obviously Canes Connection is doing whatever Canes Connection is doing for however old this kid is, however old a senior, 17, 18, I don't know. He's super young, but he is the guy that I know when he gets that ball, he is running. He is going, he's getting that touchdown, he's gaining yards. It doesn't matter if he's going for the touchdown or if he's just going for the fourth down, third down, doesn't matter, he's getting it. Not talking about true freshmen, though, because we haven't seen him play a single snap of collegiate football. That's JoJo Trader. He's just an outstanding kind of guy. He's versatile. He knows how to change routes. His football IQ is through the roof. He can immediately adjust, and when he adjusts very naturally on the football field. He has that same kind of in practice. He has that same kind of passion, and that's kind of the relationship we see in practice, and we saw a lot during fall camp. Then my third wide receiver that I just have to talk about is Ray Joseph. He is that slot receiver style play that X had. Not necessarily the fastest route runner that we've seen, but he's inside. He gets there, he'll find the ball, and he can also make plays the way that X used to. I would say we have a solid wide receiver core.
No, I think that's a great way of putting it. Not always is it a rebuild. It's just building off of what you had last year. And some of these younger guys now have an opportunity to step up and be the next star at Miami. You mentioned a couple freshmen. I mean, I'm excited to see that too. Every single year, we're always going to see a player from each team stick out that you never heard of before. And you're like, whoa, who's that? Where did he come from? Mm-hmm. So I really hope that's the case for some of these guys that you mentioned. Flipping the sides, you talk about CJ Carr's debut against Miami's secondary. I'm curious to see if Marcus Freeman allows CJ Carr to just let it rip and throw it down the field. Obviously, Miami's got a rebuilt secondary this year. I know we talked about rebuild versus building off of, but if we're being honest, it's a rebuilding year in that secondary.
Yeah, I'll let you have that one.
Which is totally fine. It's totally fine. It happens every single year for a lot of college football teams. So I don't think it's as big of a concern as some other teams, but how do you see this secondary matching up against this Notre Dame offense? You saw the Notre Dame offense in person last year. Yes, they have a new quarterback, different style, but a lot of it will be the same.
At the end of the day, football is all the same in theory. The safeties, the corners, they have to strip the ball. And our safeties and our corners, they can chip the ball. There's Zachariah Poyser. There's Dylan Day. There's Ethan O'Connor. These guys are either they're all transfers, and they all know how to strip the ball. They've all played football games before, and they all understand that they're here at Miami because in the past that they've been able to intercept, and they've been able to quickly adjust, and that's why they're here, and that's what Miami needed, and that's what they're going to do, regardless if we're playing Notre Dame, Bethune-Cookman, doesn't matter. That's what they're going to do, and they're going to somehow change the story of the game and make it Miami's instead of Notre Dame's.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, at the end of the day, football is football. You got to come out there and win the matchups, right? And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a fifth-year senior or a 17-year-old freshman. You got to step up and make the plays. Point blank, period. End of story. And so I'm curious to see how that turns out for the Miami secondary as well with the new defensive coordinator that Brad is so high on. Let's talk about the intangibles and X factors. First of all, Miami's home field advantage. You hear a lot of people have, there's two sides of the story. Oh, it's an NFL stadium. It's off campus. I hear Miami fans, where are you going to build a stadium on campus? You're going to have to tear down buildings, whatever. The list goes on. But you and I keep bringing this up because it is a personal experience. You've obviously been in that stadium a lot. My first time was 2 years ago with Georgia versus Florida State. My second time for an even bigger game that mattered in the semifinals. The acoustics in that stadium, it's good. Like, it's a loud stadium, and Miami has had its ups and downs with attendance in recent years, and obviously some games are going to be bigger than other, right? If Miami's playing Bethune-Cookman, chances are it might not be a sellout crowd, and it's not because people don't want to watch Miami football. It's just maybe because we're going to wait for a big matchup like this. I'm curious to get your initial thoughts on what maybe you expect or what the team is expecting the atmosphere to be like heading into Sunday night for this game.
Yeah, so it's going to be electric, point blank period. I don't care I don't care. One, it's an NFL-like game, right? I mean, there's no other football games on TV at that time. It is prime time on a Sunday. If you are a football fan, NFL or college sports fan, period, you're tuned into that game. And if you're a local Miami guy, you're probably also spending the money to go to that Notre Dame game because everybody in the greater Miami area is a Miami fan. That's just if you went to FIU, if you went to FGCU, if you went to FIU, you're a Miami fan. So that game is going to be insane, electric, all of those incredible words. I don't know how many tickets Hard Rock has sold at this moment. I know student tickets are sold out. I don't know any of my friends at the University of Miami being able to get a ticket if they didn't get one on time. Like the tickets are going for, I think, lowest $250 right now for 300, 400 level tickets. Like that's crazy. And the Canes are very much bumping the orange out theme, which is not something Miami typically does. It's more of like, it's an ACC vibe, but it's definitely SEC, Big 10, Big 12 kind of vibe. We don't do themed games, and we do themed games. It's usually just our Miami Nights. It does well, but it's very gimmicky. The orange out is being blasted everywhere. The players are actually excited about it, which is unheard of. They usually think it's the more of the gimmicky thing. They're like, I just want to play football. I don't really get. They're excited. It's just the energy going into this game brings chills down everyone's spine, not just fans like me, not just analysts and media outlets like me, but the typical Miami sports fan is getting chills down their spine thinking about the Catholics coming back into town. And they're just full of an anticipation. We're all just genuinely full of excitement and ready for kickoff. Like we just can't wait.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be probably a lot of celebrities down on the field or up in the suites for this one. I mean, Miami's the new LA, in my opinion. You know that there's going to be some former Miami football players there. You know, Michael Irvin will definitely be there.
He's an honorary coach at this point, not actually.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, he's like the
picture of him barking like a dog.
he's like the Matthew McConaughey of Miami. That Matthew McConaughey is for Texas, even though it's different because Michael Irvin actually played for Miami and all that, did amazing things in the NFL for the Dallas Cowboys, but. He's just that polarizing figure that, you know, when you think of Miami football, okay, Michael Irvin's up there with the rest of them.
Oh, for sure.
The stadium's going to be electric. The halftime show, we're hoping, will be electric. Keep that crowd energized going into the second half of the game. And then when you look at the coaching matchup, Marcus Freeman versus Mario Cristobal, both great coaches in their own respect. But Marcus Freeman's been to the big game. Yeah, he came up short against Ohio State, but Mario Cristobal, he's got to get there. He's been close before. He's got to get there, and he knows what it's like being on a championship caliber program and dynasty. I believe he was an assistant for Nick Saban back in the day on those great Alabama teams. I'm curious just to see, like, what do you think Mario Cristobal's mindset is going into this game?
Win. Let the guys play football. It's not like they haven't been in this kind of setting before, other than the fact that it's a Sunday night. But this is the dream. This is their dream, to play on a Sunday night like this. And if that doesn't motivate somebody, then I don't know what would. So Mario's just going to go out there. He's going to let the playmakers make their plays. He's going to let the guys run, let the guys adjust naturally. He's going to let the trenches do what the trenches need to do. And I think he's genuinely going into this weekend, one word, win. Like I said, it's cliche, but it's true.
Have you seen a change in the attitude of Miami football this year? I mean, of course, like they have a great season last year with 10 wins, right? But that's not gonna 9-3 before postseason. That's not gonna make the cut for winning a national championship game. What would you say is the best way to describe the team culture heading into this year, both with Mario Cristobal as the head coach and then down to the quarterback and so on?
It's drastically different. Same fundamentals, but drastically different. The guys that we have on our team want to be here. They're not just here because, oh, I'm getting paid to be here, or, oh, I'm here because the name is pretty cool, or, oh, I'm here because I want to take classes at the U. They're all here because they want to play under Shannon. They want to play under Heatherman. They want to play under Mario. and they all want to win, and they all bleed that green and orange blood that the 80s and the 90s and the '01 team bled. And it's a different era because social media exists now, so they still have that. They're still college boys, and they still have Instagram, they still have TikTok, they still do all that fun stuff. But when they're not on social media, they're sleeping in the locker room together and doing team bonding. They're staying after practice and just throwing the ball with each other for fun because they don't have class for another hour. They're doing whatever they need to be doing to just create a more interesting and passionate environment. And every time you step into Green Tree, and every time I leave Green Tree, I'm like, wow, this team really cares. This team really wants to prove something to the broader Miami area, that they can succeed and that they will succeed and that they love truly, deeply, and passionately the game of football.
And then we get into the special teams and the turnover margin in this game. Both teams are going to have to play smart, physical football. That's what it's going to come down to. And also, before I get into this question, I was just thinking about this off the top of my head. You're gonna as a player in this game, you're gonna have to be disciplined, right? It's Miami weather. It's humid. It's hot. That blood's going to be boiling towards the end of the third, entering the fourth quarter. Things might start to get chippy, maybe even before then. You got to stay level-headed in this game, and I'm curious to see how that plays into it as well. It is a heated rival, both with the weather and with these two teams. It's going to make for a great atmosphere, almost like a primetime boxing match, maybe. We shall see with that. I was thinking about that. I was like, this game could have some potential, I don't want to say fights. We'll stick with scuffles, but it's not a contact sport. It's a collision sport. So we're going to see some big hits. We're going to see some big boys playing football, and in this hot weather, anything could happen. So we'll see. But my question for you is, outside of the quarterbacks, who's that one X factor for Miami that makes you go, that's the guy? That's the guy that's going to make the difference, whether it's special teams, whether it's a turnover on defense, whether it's a playmaker on offense. Who's that one guy that sticks out to you that could be the difference in the end to help Miami get this win?
Oh, that's Mark Fletcher, easily. That's the first, Mark Fletcher, 1,000%. If he plays the way that he did when we played against FSU last year, he was playing for his dad. His dad had just passed away, I want to say 24, 48 hours before the game. He played for his dad, and he has had that game was his best game he's had in his collegiate year, and he's going into his third year playing football now. He is running back one. He's bigger than he's ever been, but he's bigger than he's ever been muscle-wise. He retained his speed, he retained his motion, he retained his footwork, he's retained his football IQ. He's just bigger, he's faster, and he has more eagerness to win. And now he's the leader of the running back room. Before he was under Dame, and now it's him. And he has Lyle behind him, and we're set up for success, as I said before, for the running back room, especially with Carson Beck's playing style. But the standout guy on the offense, no matter what position Miami may be in, first down, fourth down, doesn't matter. Mark Fletcher is going to be that guy that just everybody's talking about. And yeah.
Yeah, they're going to need the running game to step up in this one. Carson Beck may have some jitters early on. I know he's a confident guy. I know he can sling the ball even with the injury and the surgery during the offseason. He's a guy that can come out and prove it right away. He's going to have to lean on that run game, I think, early on, because you can't be one-dimensional. You can't ask Carson to go out there and throw it 40, 50 times. You've got to be able to run the ball. And Notre Dame's going to have those long, sustaining drives, right? They're not going to necessarily beat you over the top with the deep threat. They're going to have 4, 5, 6 yard carries. Miami's defense is going to have to step up. Otherwise, Notre Dame's offense is just going to push down the field into those 7 to 9 minute drives. If they can score off of that, it's going to put Miami's offense in a pickle, because they're going to be forced to say, hey, Carson, you got to. Thankfully, they can rely on him because he's a veteran guy. Mm-hmm. He's not a freshman quarterback coming into this one. But they're going to have to tell Carson, hey, we need you this drive. We need you to step up. This is, this. Because if you get behind.
I don't think they're going to have to tell Carson anything. I think Carson's going to just understand it. He already does.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I think Mark Fletcher is the difference. I'm going to throw out a name too, and I talked about him in the offseason. Keelan Marion from BYU, wide receiver, dynamic returner. I don't believe Miami had a single kick return for a touchdown last year, but Keelan Marion's that guy that can like really step up for this Miami offense and give them that field position that they need to start a drive.
He's an All-American returner at BYU.
Yeah. And I think he averaged like, I don't know how much he averaged. I'm not going to make up a number like I know, but his average return was pretty dang good. I look to him to be a difference maker in this game, especially for Miami. Well, obviously for Miami, especially for getting that offense, that spark that they need. Coaches always told us, hey, you win 2 out of 3 phases, being defense, offense, special teams. You win 2 out of 3 of those phases, chances are you've got a high probability of winning the game. But 2 out of the 3 got to step up. Looking at the prediction, obviously I'm not going to make you predict because that would be unfair considering I think we know who you're going to pick in this one. Right now, as stands, Vegas has this one, Notre Dame minus 2.5, over under at 49.5. Not the highest scoring game. Guess they will put up some points, and also there'll be good defense as well. The question that I'll ask myself, because again, I won't have you predict this game. Bottom line, who wins? What's my score? And what does it mean for the playoff race? Well, first of all, I think whoever loses this game still is in it. I think if Notre Dame loses, they still got a shot. If Miami loses, they still got a shot at the playoff, right? They're going to have to step it up the rest of the season, but this is a top 10 matchup that we're talking about here, and neither team is going to budge, and both teams have the capability of not only winning this game, but also winning the rest of the games throughout the season. So that's my take on that. Who wins this game? Honestly, I think in the end, and I'm not just saying this because Ashley's on the show, I really do believe Miami's going to step up. I really do think that that Vegas is right on this one. It's going to be a close one. It's going to be tough, physical football. And it's going to come down to field position. There's so many eyes on the quarterback play. There's so many eyes on the running back play of Notre Dame. I want to see who's going to step up in the special teams, right? The punters, the punt block, the kick return, the field goal team. Those little things make a huge difference. You miss a 49-yard field goal, momentum slips. You make a 49-yard field goal going into the half, look out. Momentum's on your side. I think Miami has the edge in that. I think they have a great special teams coming into this game. I think Keelan Marion, as I mentioned earlier, is going to be a key contributor to that. But yes, one of these teams is going to have to step up in special teams. Now, what's my score prediction? I'm going to take Miami late in this one, 30-24 over Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I think they just edge out with the veteran presence of Carson Beck. Mario Cristobal's hot seat heating up. They've got more to prove in this game. They got a little bit more confidence and, like I said in the beginning, swagger to come out with. I'm excited for this one. I know a lot of people are going to pick Notre Dame probably on College game day, but give me the Miami Hurricanes to cover the spread, and I think they end up winning this one 30-24. Ashley, before we let you get going, thank you so much for joining. You always give the best insight to Miami football. You're the best in the game. I'll say it time and time again. But for the fans out there, please let them know where they can find you on social.
Yeah, I have my Ashley Friedland media account on Instagram, and then Ashley Friedland everywhere else.
And on Twitter now, on /X. You're on Twitter now. So
X/Twitter and TikTok is Ashley Friedland.
Okay, there you go. Stepping it up on both platforms. I like it. We're going to be keeping a close eye on this game. We wish you and the Miami Hurricanes the best of luck. I know this won't be the last time we have you on this season. We're looking forward to doing some more episodes with you in the future. So take care. And Miami Notre Dame fans, let us know down in the comments who you think wins this rivalry matchup, Convicts versus Catholics. Who comes out on top Sunday night, 7:30 on ABC, primetime matchup. Subscribe down below. Really appreciate the support we've gotten over the last few months. Click that like button, turn on that bell notification so you can stay up to date when we post our latest content. We'll see you tomorrow night as we go live for the first time ever. Break the Huddle after dark. We'll be live 7 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll be breaking down Georgia Tech versus Colorado and Auburn versus Baylor. We'll see you then. It's time to break the huddle.